So as we continue down the path of usability testing, we need to create a plan. Okay, usability testing can be as simple as testing a feature flow, right? It could be as complex as testing out a entire onboarding to a B2B product. So it could be simple or complex. The level of complexity will probably determine the number of tasks you have and what you're measuring, right? So the first thing you want to do is create a plan, and you need to have a series of tasks that users need to complete to ultimately try to understand if the thing that you built or the thing that you changed is usable enough to figure out how to do. Okay, so that's the quantitative aspect of it, is how many of our users that we've tested can complete this task. Okay, and you can add success metrics to it, and I'll explain that in a second. Let's go through the plan. So you can see I'm telling the user to log in. I would probably give them login credentials. I would tell them to open the project titled Figma animation, so they would have to find that and know how to open it. Right? That's not what I'm testing, but surprisingly, you come across other usability issues of things that have been existing for a while when you do these. But that's not the main goal of this, right? So you tell them to select a component. If they're already a Figma user, they should know what this is. If they're a user of another product another design product that you're testing, sometimes it's interesting to get feedback on naming conventions as compared to competitive products. And then I'm going to tell them, so what I'm really trying to gauge here is, can they find the animations, and can they find the advanced animations, and can they make it work, right? So I'm using spin while hovering as an example. Just came to mind. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it, but just as an example for this video. So the animation that I want them to use is, they've already selected a component, so now they need to make that component spin while hovering over it. Okay, so they would need to know that you need to go to prototype, that you need to select while hovering, and there needs to be, you want to see if they go to advanced animations, and then there's some options there when one of them says, spin, just as an example again. And if they can complete that, then they've successfully completed the usability test. All right. Now that sounds good, but if it takes them a full hour to find it, then there's different levels of usability, right? In a purist definition, then the task was successful. But would I consider the usability test a success? Probably not, right? And the way I would gauge that is by saying, okay, my success metric is saying that after they've selected the component, knowing that they want to make some animation in this prototype, it should take no more than 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever metric you want to put to it. And when you record the user going through the usability test, you can have a timer, or sometimes you can use tools like user testing and other usability testing tools that'll actually record the different tasks for you. So it kind of automates that. But if you're being scrappy in your usability testing, like I have to be in my day-to-day, I record over Zoom, and then I go back and see, how long did it take them to complete this task from the time that they read the task, or that I audibly read it to them, and to the time they were able to finish. Okay, so success metrics can be around time, task completion. The other thing you can get is some qualitative metrics out of asking them to think out loud, right? So you want to understand their thoughts, their emotions, their feelings as they're going through this, as a qualitative metric for, is this frustrating? Is this easy to understand? Is this visually appealing to them? Are things arranged in a way that's cluttered or understandable? So you just ask them, as you go through this, I really want you to think out loud, whatever you see, whatever you're feeling, whatever bugs you, whatever you like, just think out loud. Whatever thoughts come to mind, just spit them out. Nothing, not going to hold anything against you. We just want to know your true thoughts and opinions as you go through this flow, right? And so really encourage them to think out loud. as they go through this, so you can get some understanding of how this experience is making them feel, not just can they complete it, right? They could be completely silent, trying to figure it out, and they may be completely frustrated, want to scream, and you would have no idea if they're not thinking out loud. So with that, in your test plan, come up with, kind of similar to the diagram we did before of the user journey. You can use some of that to kind of base your test plan in. What is that user's path to your feature? And then can they execute the thing that you need them to execute in that feature to see if that it's actually usable, if you implemented it in a way that's usable. And from there, you can decide whether or not you need to optimize the experience and the user flow. But with that, that's the test plan. Design a path, ask them to think out loud, predefine your success metrics you can measure against it. And in the next video, we'll actually talk about best practices of running through it. We've touched on a couple things, but we're going to touch on a few other pitfalls that a lot of usability testers in the beginning will run into, and some pro tips as well that you might not hear broadly out in the market if you're just researching usability testing. So with that, I'll see you in the next video. Moving on.